The NCAA Beach Volleyball Championship is brought to you by Coppertone. Coppertone Sport is proven to protect. And Progressive's Home Insurance. Get your quote at progressive.com today.
Lots of action already here in Gulf Shores, Alabama at the NCAA Beach Volleyball Championship. Countdown clock is on. That's a good sign. We got more volleyball coming for you. Florida State and UCLA getting set to battle in the winner's bracket. That is less than 8 minutes away. Welcome back to the beach, Courtney Lyle and Holly McPeak. And we just saw LSU survive a battle with South Carolina. What'd you like about the Tigers?
Well, I think LSU really, they've been here before now. They have more confidence. They have higher expectations. And like Russell Brock said, we have all that experience of this year behind us. We've been working towards more advancement in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and it's a quick turnaround too, because you play that early duel and then you realize you got to spin around and play somebody else so quick.
Different strategies, different matchups, and they responded really well. I was really impressed.
Well, we'll take a look at the elimination bracket. So LSU does survive. USC, we saw them survive earlier, and that came down to the twos.
So exciting, and it always comes down to a different pair, but USC's twos really answered when it was tight in that third set, and they barely survived a very strong FIU performance.
So we'll get to see Southern California again tomorrow, and LSU will play tomorrow right after that. This is the winner's bracket. We're getting set for UCLA and Florida State, but Hawaii and Pepperdine also making it into the winner's bracket.
I'm really excited about both of these matchups. UCLA, Florida State, their depth, they're deep. The parity here, any of these four teams could win the title.
Yeah, Florida State, we saw them earlier. Their first duel of the day was against USC, the two-time defending NCAA champions, and they came out aggressive.
They did, and they've got depth, they've got senior leadership, and they've got a coach and a volleyball program that's all in, and it makes a difference when you come to the NCAA program with that kind of confidence.
Yeah, and you're facing a UCLA team coming in as the #1 seed for the first time. They're the Pac-12 tournament champs, but I feel like they made a statement early on this morning with a 3-0 win.
They certainly did, but Pepperdine Hawaii looked really strong this morning as well, so it's anybody's game. Can't wait to watch.
That's what makes it so much fun in year 3 of the NCAA championship. So much talent. We see why. The countdown is on. Next duel, almost 5 minutes away. Sam Gore and Cameron Irwin coming on to take you through it when we come back to Gulf Shores.
The NCAA Beach Volleyball Championship is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. And Coppertone. Coppertone Sport is proven to protect.
Absolutely beautiful day on the beach and here at the beach volleyball venue. Florida State and UCLA begin our first winner's bracket duel. Florida State, the #4 seed, UCLA, the top seed and top ranked team in the country, meeting for the right to move on to tomorrow in the winner's bracket. Again, there's 8 teams here. We've had a couple eliminated today. Each duel consists of 5 pairs. So we've got 3 overall teams from the East, 3 from the West, 2 at large in the field of 8. Our coverage today, all day, every single court, every single match is covered between ESPNU and the app. Tomorrow, 4 hours on ESPN2. Sunday, 11:30 Eastern on ESPN2, and the championship will be at 2 Eastern on ESPN. And again, every single court you can watch on the app. So we have 5 pairs going on all at once. Every match between the pairs is a 2 out of 3 set match. First 2 sets are to 21 win by 2. If we get to a third, it's to 15 win by 2. Every match counts as a point, and your team is trying to earn 3 points or 3 match wins to secure the duel and move on. So I guess Cameron Irwin, The interesting thing is for these lineups, if you lose today, you're not out. You're still coming back and playing tomorrow, but if you win, it's just one more chance to make that final an easier path.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things about this specific matchup is for the last 2 seasons here at the NCAA tournament, guess who is the team that has sent UCLA home? Florida State. So even though this is not an elimination game, there is still a lot on the line, especially emotionally for these 2 teams.
This has been a bad matchup for UCLA, as Cameron mentioned. If you go to the app, this is what you'll see. All 5 courts out there in front of you. You can pick a court to watch. If we are covering a court and you're interested in another match, of course, you can watch that. What I like to do when I'm at home is have our television coverage on the main monitor and then have my mobile device on the app and watch another court at the same time. So there you go. We're going to head to court 1 and begin this duel between UCLA and Florida State. UCLA ranked #1 in the nation against the #4 seed Florida State. UCLA, the McNamara twins, we saw them earlier today. Nicole is 13, the lefty. Megan, 31, the righty. Taking on Vanessa Frady, #12 for Florida State on the left-hand side of your screen, and #25, Tori Paranagua, senior from Austin, Texas. But they're both of Brazilian descent, so you'll hear some Portuguese out on the court.
Yep, lots of Portuguese.
Cameron, let's have you weigh in on the McNamaras, because certainly everyone has
Well,
their opinion on them.
Yeah, well, we definitely cannot talk about them enough. They are just so fun to watch. They talk about twin magic all the time, playing as one. And they've also mentioned their aura, their chemistry, which is so important in the game of beach volleyball. What I love about them and what's so unique is that their ball control is just out of this world. They move the ball around so well when they set. They both hand set from time to time, pushing the ball to the pin and pushing the tempo. You're going to see all sorts of different playmaking abilities from the McNamaras.
Number 13, that is Nicole. Again, she's lefty. They are extremely competitive. And of course, they room together in college and hold each other to a very high standard on and off the court, in the classroom, in their social lives, in their volleyball careers. Of course, they want to aspire to be Canadian Olympians as well as play professionally. And what's your thought on the size issue? They're 5'9". Of course, Stein Metzger, he doesn't have a problem with size because he's such a ball control coach. But can you be so good at ball control and win as a professional or in the Olympics?
Yeah, I think we should just ask our broadcast partner, Holly McPeak. I mean, size is very critical. It does help a ton. However, if you're a defender and you've got the shots and you have the ability to score in transition, especially in transition points, it is so important to have all the tools needed when you're about 5'9", and both of these student athletes do.
Nicole McNamara with the kill there to push the lead up 4-2. They are from Vancouver, Canada, but the Canadian National Training Center's in Toronto, so they'll be heading to Toronto to train. Good swing off that left side by Frady, the senior from Windermere, Florida.
Now, one of the things I just saw throughout that point was Paranagua kind of giving a fake out move, and you'll see this from the McNamaras as well. When they go up to set, sometimes they may look purposefully like they're going to attack, trying to hold the block, trying to hold the defender just a little bit longer to get their teammate a little bit more of an open look at the net.
This pair was named to the CCSA All-Conference team. Frady, actually, I mentioned a senior. She just won the ACC's postgraduate scholarship for academics and is going to use it to go to law school. Four points apiece first set. Hitting error there by Nicole McNamara.
There are few times that the McNamaras find themselves in trouble. However, when that does happen, it is frequently that they're making a few too many hitting errors.
Good dig. There's the speed of the McNamaras. That would have been a winning point against a lot of other teams. But they are, Seminoles just relentless here.
I mean, the hustle is just unreal. That is pure ball control right there.
I have watched both these teams throughout the day, Cameron, and I love their anticipation. Both of these teams seem to know exactly where to be. They read the angles of the court and are able to anticipate where that ball is going to go very well.
Seeing a nice little handset on that last play from Megan McNamara. UCLA very well known for their setting ability. That's from pairs 1 through 5, and that all starts from head coach Stein Metzger. He was an indoor setter at UCLA. He had some of the butteriest hands out there, but his team, I mean, Sarah Sponsel, he says, is one of the best, if not the best, setter on the men's side, women's side, in the college game and in the pro game.
Coach Metzger, a big fan of ball control. That's the big point of emphasis in his program, and he has a smaller team out here. UCLA, even though they're #1 in the nation, they're not a big team. Courtney, let's join you. You have some thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, Sam, you're hitting it right on the head. I mean, he told us his weakness is ball control. When he's out scouting for recruits, if he sees someone who has great ball control, he wants them on his team. And that was true for the McNamaras. They wanted to stay together and play together on the collegiate beach scene. And he said, okay, you guys are so good at controlling the ball. Come play for me, please.
Yeah, he does not like when you kind of get defined by sticking to a certain type of pair, big, little. He likes the fact that these two work so well together. They do a lot of things you can't coach a team with their chemistry and their ball control. And a lot of coaches wanted to split them up. 8-7.
And this is one of the strongest points of the McNamaras. Now, because they're undersized, they have to do something to get teams out of system. That something is incredibly aggressive service pressure. So they both just rip topspin jump serves from back line.
That's a beautiful shot down the line by Frady. We are underway in our first winners bracket duel between #1 seed UCLA and #4 seed Florida State. Florida State taking out two-time defending NCAA champion USC earlier today. USC survived against Florida International 3-2 earlier to avoid elimination. USC will have to try to make the championship again through the elimination bracket. I got to tell you, we are tight on just about every court out there between these two, UCLA and Florida State. Let's head over to court 4 for a moment, where Holly McPeak is standing by for a word on what's happening there. Holly?
Well, we have 3 very experienced players on the court. Mac May, the least experienced in FSU, going after her, but she's been hot from the service line with 3 aces, so really stepping up on this big stage for UCLA. All tied. Well, actually, we're up 10-9 for UCLA now.
Mac May, freshman from Dubuque, Iowa, 6'3" freshman. Sky is the limit for May. I'm glad we're going over to this court because she is a star of the future for real. #1 in white with the visor up at the net. And she just got tooled there, though, by #20, Brooke Kuhlman of Florida State.
Elise Sapia is just such a compliment to Mac May. She has incredible ball control. Her first touch is very good, and she sides out so well, which obviously is happening because right now they're going after Mac May. They want to test her and force her to take some beachy shots just like that one.
May securing the point for UCLA as they change ends. Stein Metzger, the head coach at UCLA, with this pair. He's with the 5s today. And we have just gotten started. We're midway through the opening set on most courts. UCLA and Florida State in the winners bracket here at the NCAA Women's Beach Volleyball Championship.
I describe them as being relentless. They just don't quit on anything. And they hold each other accountable, which in a way that only sisters can do.
We haven't actually gotten the blood test, but we're thinking we're identical. I'm left-handed and she's right-handed. which really helps us out on the court. Our family travels to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico every year, so our parents play on the court just for fun. We'd always sit on the side and like shag balls, and then when we kind of got older, closer to 10, we started bumping back and forth. So we fell in love with the sport from that moment and just had so much fun when we went back to Vancouver.
Megan really fires Nicole up, and Nicole is really like thinking things through.
I think they balance each other out so well. You need a Megan and you need a Nicole to have that great chemistry on the court.
We were told, okay, you guys are short for the sport, so we knew that we'd always have to make up for it in other ways. So it's really intimidating getting out there and playing against like the 6'4", 6'5" girls, but we just know that we need to be quicker, more dynamic by having really tough serves and just making strategic, smart decisions on defense.
Sometimes we talk about them being two bodies, one mind. They don't really need to communicate.
They'll say like, yep, and no one else will know what that means, but they all know like, okay, I'm gonna set a white to the pin this play.
It's like a dance, you know, it's a beautiful thing to watch. They know where each other is on the court without even hearing their voices or looking to see who they are.
Unlike a lot of these partnerships, we have played together since we were 12, 13 years old. We've been a beach volleyball team, so we've really not only grown as individual players, but we've been able to grow and develop as a team, which really helps us out.
The McNamara sisters, one of the premier teams in beach volleyball. Identical twins. They are from Vancouver, Canada, which is on the far west side above California. They are bronze medalists at the Worlds, the U19 Worlds, silver medalists in the 2014 Youth Olympic Games, and this year's Pac-12 Pair of the Year. That was just announced prior to this championship. And there's a look at Nicole, the lefty. I love the fact that they are openly discuss that, yes, they're human and it is intimidating being 5'9" and walking out on the court against some of these women that are 6'3" and under.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised by that, just knowing a little bit more of their personalities. They are just so aggressive and they don't fear anyone. I mean, they believe they can win. That's why, I mean, they've stuck together. They're both 5'9", and that was their sticking point, was they wanted to play together. They wanted to compete at the highest level, and they are one of the top teams in the country. One thing I love about them is that Steinmetzger says they are twice as good as they were last year, and that's really saying something. One of the big keys for their improvement is the addition of Jeff Alzina to the staff. He sits on court one with them and just added so much technically and offensively to their game.
This has been a tough opening set for the McNamara's. Frady and Paranagua giving them all they can handle. That bump goes out of bounds. 16-15, Florida State still leading. They've won 19 of their last 20 matches. They did lose to USC in the Pac-12 semis, but then came back and beat the USC pair in the championship match that day.
Nice job by UCLA staying disciplined at the net, not leaving until that set happened, which luckily that wasn't a set. Get a nice little block point.
Again, Cameron, you pointed it out. Florida State beat UCLA last year. So UCLA playing a team that has been very tough for them the past couple of years. Let's move over to court 5. Fitzpatrick and Gonsalves against Carey and Murray. 19-14, Florida State leading on this court as well.
Now, Florida State has challenged them in the past. However, this season, UCLA has gone 2-0 against them. So they really have had Florida State's number so far this season.
This number 5 pair for Florida State is a new team. That's Gonsalves that just served. And the hammer there by Carey, Izzy Carey from Westlake Village, California. This is a very strategic, informational team, says Steinmetzger. They love to be bombarded with information. They're intentional learners, is the way he described them. And if you read their bios, they're both very analytical in the way they approach the game.
Calls them Team Cerebral.
Set point for Florida State here, Fitzpatrick and Gonsalves. point UCLA.
Megan Murray, just really a heads-up play. Her court vision is just impeccable. She sees it so well, especially for a freshman. She's just such a smooth player and can find her points.
Still set point. We haven't had a set completed yet over the course of these 5 matches. And now we do. Florida State takes set number 1 on court 5. So we'll move to court 1, where UCLA, the McNamara's are up by just a point here deep in the opening set. And we're tied up. Beautiful line shot by Frady.
Yeah, Frady really elevating, seeing that pulling blocker and then just attacking down the line. That is really hard as a defender when you're pulling off the net. You want to keep your hands up, quick feet, get those feet stopped as soon as contact happens.
Service error there by Frady. They'll change ends now with UCLA's McNamara twins up by a point. And Nicole coming back to serve. She actually had some shoulder surgery last July, but got back out on the beach pretty quickly.
Yeah, last year they showed up to the NCAA tournament. Nicole had to have tape on her shoulder, so of course Megan put the same exact tape on the shoulder, so they still, you couldn't tell them apart. The beauty of identical twins, right?
That's classic. I love that.
I asked whose idea it was, and I'm pretty sure Stein took the claim for it.
Well, I mean, one's lefty and one's righty, though, so it's not impossible to tell them apart when they're playing volleyball. The hard part is when they're sitting in front of you. Megan serving. UCLA up a point here. There's a lefty swing as well.
Set just getting a little too tight on Florida State's side.
You could hear maybe the public address announcer on court 3. Florida State's just won another set. So Florida State's taken 2 sets on these 5 courts so far. And a set point denied there by Frady and Paranagua, but still the McNamara's have a set point and a chance to give Florida State its first set loss here so far, early goings. Nice shot off the left side. Set goes to the McNamara's and UCLA. That is the only set UCLA has won so far. As we'll head over to court 3 and show you off tape the set point that just occurred a few moments ago. This is Putt and Yerger against Simo and Muno. And Simo and Muno losing the first set 21-14.
Savvy Simo and Zana Muno are such a solid team now. Zana is coming back from an injury. She did not play in the Pac-12 championship tournament. However, I watched her in the match that she had an injury, and that girl, my goodness, I cannot say enough about her fighting spirit. I mean, she was hobbling around the court, running around, and I mean, just continued to battle through. And it was against Cal Poly. I mean, I can't say enough about her fight and her spirit.
It's on full display here as well. Court 2, Horton and Luke for Florida State. Set point, though, for UCLA's Justine and Sponsel. Good pursuit.
This is probably the most explosive team for UCLA of Sponsel and Justine.
And we are tied at 20, win by 2 from here on out to take the opening set. That's a look at Haley Luke, redshirt senior from Altamont Springs, Florida. Playing with another redshirt senior, Katie Horton from Westland, Michigan.
Now this is a super tough team from Florida State. They're actually 18-0 in this twos position, earning that 18th win earlier today against Florida State in 3 sets.
It's a team also that's so experienced, so mature. They really don't need a lot of coaching out there. They're good at self-managing their games. Good block. Set point Florida State. Up at the net, that is Katie Horton.
And the last time these two teams met, actually, Florida State took the point.
Oh, that felt good. You could feel the frustration in that swing by Justine. So 21 apiece.
Lily Justine is such a nice compliment to Sarah Sponsel. Sponsel is a freak in the backcourt. I mean, her defense is unreal, and she has such an ability to transition and just bang balls. But Justine, her explosiveness and her block moves are very aggressive.
Wide, set point UCLA.
Now Justine's got to serve and run all the way up to the net.
.22 apiece. Florida State up a set on 3 of the 5 courts. McNamara is winning on court 1. Good block.
And a huge, huge block from Haley Luke, giving Florida State the advantage.
Set point Seminoles. Set point denied. Nice joust at the net, won by number 4 in white, Sarah Sponsel. Sponsel, Coach Metzger says she's the best setter he's ever seen, ever, man or woman. Kill delivered by Horton. Set point Florida State.
Oh, and what a pickup from Sarah Sponsel. I mean, that's why teams don't serve her. She sees the court so well. And she can rip the ball. She has every shot in her arsenal.
Sponsel was the West Coast Conference Player of the Year last year. That was at LMU after transferring. She was the starting setter for the UCLA indoor team this year.
Just a stab over the net.
Nice block.
Oh, and just a clutch block. Especially, she stayed up at the net. So impressive from Haley Luke. As Sarah Sponsel is about a 5 foot to 6 foot range off the net. Usually most blockers are gonna pull, which is why Sarah Sponsel did not see her there.
Haley Luke, number 34, got that block. She's 6 feet. Katie Horton, her partner, 6'1". Fantastic chemistry. The coaching staff was telling us yesterday. We had the pleasure of sitting down with Brooke Niles, the head coach, and volleyball legend Angela Rock, who's a volunteer assistant for this program.
They said it's just so hard to get this team out of system. Their first touch is so good. Their second touch, even if their first isn't there, is even better.
It's a timeout taken now with Florida State having set point. Court 4 a few moments ago as Brooke Niles, the head coach of Florida State, talks to her pair, had a set end. This was McBain and Kuhlman against Zappia and May. Set point for Florida State here, and Florida State took that set 21-18, and it's now 3 points apiece in the second. Florida State having a strong start to this duel. Well, this is our first day of coverage, and the NCAA Beach Volleyball Championship continues Saturday at 2 Eastern on ESPN2. It'll be duel number 9. For more information on the NCAA Women's Beach Volleyball Championship, visit ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. And this is the fastest growing sport in the NCAA Beach Volleyball, and you can certainly understand why. Just the atmosphere here, the music continuously plays, you're on the beach, the athleticism, the speed of the game, every point counts. There's just so many selling points and so many things that makes this sport fan friendly.
It is. It's such a fun environment to be in. I mean, how often you get to come to work, take off your shoes, hang out in the sand with a great view, and watch just incredible athletic student athletes.
And the community here in Gulf Shores certainly has embraced this event as well. You see signs up all over town welcoming the teams and fans and participants of this championship. This is Gulf Shores, Alabama on the Gulf of Mexico. Most people fly into Pensacola and drive the hour over. You can take the Mobile, Alabama route as well. But we're on the Gulf Coast. And a beautiful venue for this national championship. Set point after the timeout for Florida State's Horton and Luke. Ace! And the set goes to the Seminoles.
I mean,
one swing.
Wow, you can't get a tougher serve than that, hitting the line. And you can see Brooke Coleman just stoked for her team.
So Florida State winning the opening set on 4 of 5 courts. Can they pull off the upset of the #1 team in the country? We'll find out.
We don't get all the funding that all the other sports get, and we weren't getting these awesome hype videos made that, let's say, like football or basketball get. So we kind of took matters into our own hands. We have a couple creative people on the team that are good with film too, and we just thought, let's make our own hype video. So we started that year, and it turned out really well, and we've been doing it ever since.
For me, it's kind of like an impulse. I've been playing around with editing software since I was very young, and I kind of need that in my life to keep a good balance, and I think it counterbalances the rest of my life very well.
All in is the Florida State motto, and they certainly are all in today as Florida State winning the first set on 4 of the 5 courts and leading here in the second 13-11. They have those poker chips, Cameron, that have the word all in that they all have, and will drop it in a bucket. Start of practices has the program's core values on it.
I love it. They have to have their chips with them everywhere they go. I don't even want to know what happens if they don't have it and they get found out.
14-11. Good swing there off the left side by number 15, Murray.
Murray finding the jumbo in the deep corner. I like it with a little bit of pace too. Ball just wide. I like the idea of it.
Let's head back down to Courtney Laus. She's going to tell us about Angela Rock, who I mentioned earlier, right, Courtney?
Yeah, you guys were talking about her. She's over here with the 5s right now, and what an addition. Talk about all in. She is somebody who has really bought in and is all in to this Florida State program. Of course, she's fantastic in her own right of everything that she's accomplished, but when Brooke Niles came to her and asked her to work with this program, she spent her own money to come to Tallahassee from San Diego. She's working 2 other jobs, by the way, and still has made it a priority for her to be with this team and work with this team. And what an amazing person to have on the beach with you.
Yeah, she's actually a tenured professor out in San Diego at a community college there, but she is a legend in the sport of beach volleyball, was a former great pro player, and actually has worked with some of the all-time greats as well as a coach. Fantastic get, an addition.
And Carrie attacking with her opposite arm there, hitting with her left hand. That set was just inside.
15 points apiece.
And I love the behind the back set and transition play. That's just beautiful. Really forcing UCLA to have to move their block around. Now, when that happens and you get a back set like that, it's super important on defense to really communicate, especially a blocker, showing what side they're going to be blocking and if they're going to change the call or not.
Can you hear their communication when you're next to the court?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's actually, that's a really interesting point, because I feel like if you were to go up and down the West Coast in the older crowd of beach volleyball, sometimes there's not a lot of communication. But if you are playing highly competitive volleyball like these student athletes are and professional athletes are, I mean, the level of communication and the amount and when it's said, how it's said is very, very critical to the game.
Well, Holly McPeak certainly knows how to play high-level volleyball. Holly, how you doing down there?
Well, I'm good. I'm at court 5, and the new team for FSU at 5s, Francesca Gonsalves and Madison Fitzpatrick, have been so good. Really tough to get out of system. Izzy Carey and Megan Murray, little pushback in the second set, but really struggling to get any tweaks in the pass, and Gonsalves and Fitzpatrick in system consistently.
Holly, I want to get your take on Angela Rock, because you're certainly very familiar with her.
Oh yeah, when I started playing professional volleyball, she was the #1 team in the country, and just a great leader. These players respect her. Good energy. She's written a book on beach volleyball. So much knowledge, and I think the kids are so excited to have this kind of knowledge on their bench that just gives them more confidence in this all-in situation.
Holly, what's one of the challenges of playing a team that you really don't have any film on?
Well, that's the thing. You don't know what tendencies to play defensively, but what you want to do against a team you don't have film is you want to get them out of system. You can't go after one or another if you don't have film. Go middle, short serves, take them out of their normal system, but really hard right now to get any tweaks in Florida State's offense.
18 apiece. Florida State is 3 points away from victory, but UCLA 3 points away from forcing a final set. We're deep in the second set on most courts at the moment. And remember, FSU won 4 of 5 first sets. Trying to win 3 of these matches to give your team the dual victory. Side out UCLA, it's 19-18 Bruins.
And it doesn't get much prettier than that. Murray passing on the left side, shifting her approach to the right side of the court, and just that beautiful high line shot.
And up the line goes Florida State to tie the score.
Gonsalves doing the exact same thing right back to UCLA, finding the high line shot and tagging the line.
That just dribbles over. Point UCLA. For the win.
Wow, that is amazing. Angle block just right over the top of the hands of UCLA's block.
So the 5s pick up the win for Florida State, 21-16, 21-19. The first point goes to the Seminoles. We move back to the 1s, where the McNamara's are trying to even the duel. 17 all here in the second as they squeaked out the first set, and now 18-17 in favor of UCLA's McNamara sisters.
An interesting thing to note about this matchup is that these two teams, even though in duels they have played each other, these two specific matchups have not happened between the McNamara's and Paranagua and Frady. And that's because Paranagua was actually playing with Macy Jerger earlier in the season.
Paranagua actually wants to be a broadcaster when she finishes school. Perfectly placed. Courtney?
Yeah, speaking of these Florida State ones, there are a couple of young ladies who have wanted to play together for some time now, but the thing was they weren't practicing well together, so until they could prove in practice that they could play well together, Coach Niles wasn't going to put them together. And guys, I find it so interesting about how all of these coaches have their different methods and theories on finding the perfect pair.
Couldn't agree more with you, Courtney. Yesterday, that was a big theme in our meetings with the coaches, was how they determine the pairs, and I don't think any two programs are the same.
No, they all have their own little unique way of doing it.
It is match point now for the McNamara's to try to tie this duel at a point apiece. Timeout is taken. Florida State up 1-0, and while this match is in a timeout, let's head over to court 3, where Florida State, Putt and Yerger are 3 points away from giving Florida State a point.
I mean, all of these matches, especially in the second set, are very, very close.
And Florida State won 4 of the 5 first sets. That's good. Point UCLA, and the Bruins within 1 on this changeover.
Savvy Simo, just incredibly athletic. I mean, she can absolutely get up and terminate a ball.
Savvy Simo, her dad Brian was a NASCAR driver. Steinmetzger says when they are behind in a match, that's when they're at their best, when their backs are up against the wall, and that is certainly the case right now. So let's see if they can bring out their best and come back and win this. They're 2 points from defeat. It's McBain and Kuhlman have not let go of the lead. 19-17. Good serve. Match point Florida State.
I love the net presence by Macy Jerger. Just staying so disciplined. It's a lot of a ping pong ball. Ball's moving around quite a bit, but she stays nice and disciplined, gets the point for her team.
Match point on court 3 for Florida State. Denied. On court 1, match point for the McNamara's, as they lead 20-19. They won the first set 21-19. Frady and Paranagua desperately trying to tie here. And on the left-hand side of your screen, Putt and Yerger trying to win here at match point. Check the left-hand side of your screen as Florida State has just gone up. And so has UCLA won. So both going final in a matter of seconds. And so Florida State is now up 2-1 in the duel. McNamara's picking up the first point for UCLA.
And that is such a solid win for the McNamara's and the ones position. I mean, 21-19, 21-19, that just speaks to their composure, their ability to really transition, put the ball away when they need to. I love to see them come out and win like that at that ones pair.
Yeah. Hands are so sweaty.
So the McNamara's taking the victory on court 1, but UCLA is down in the duel, and we head to court 2, where Florida State won the first set and is up 13-9 here in the second. So this one is looking better for Florida State, but over on court 4, I mean, the duel could end here in a few moments if Zappia and May don't find a way to win this set. It's 19-all. McBain and Kuhlman won the first set. Somebody's going to have a set point or a match point after this next one. That is perfectly placed.
Just so clutch from McMay, especially 19-19. I mean, getting that 20th point, very impressive. Just stays steady, finds the deep corner.
Set point UCLA. And it's win by 2 from here on. Holly, you out on that court?
Yes, I'm out at court 4. UCLA was up 18-15, and the strong pair of Florida State has just chipped away, staying mostly on Mac May, but fantastic team defense and playing cat and mouse with this Bruin team.
Some impressive swing there by Zappia, and it's set point again for UCLA. We're tied again.
I love it. Florida State has been pretty aggressive with their setting, and it's really nice to see. The wind's not super aggressive, so they're really moving the ball around and kind of changing up the location of their attacks, and that's from pairs 1 through 5 so far.
McBain ready to serve, a sophomore from Toronto. Her dad was an NHL hockey player. Good.
Oh, just smooth. I mean, the composure of Mac May to get blocked, get reset, pass a solid ball to Zappia, and then terminate a ball down the line.
Another set point for UCLA. UCLA, no more room for error. Cannot lose another match. Florida State has a 2-1 lead in the duel. Florida State, the number 4 seed, UCLA, the number 1 seed. A cut shot winner there by Kuhlman.
And a pokey across the tape right there.
McBain and Kuhlman looking for match point, which would also be dual point.
Oh, all over that ball was Kuhlman. She's gonna wish she had that one back.
Set point again for UCLA. Down the line winner by Kuhlman.
Kuhlman creating her own opportunity again. Great first touch. I love it again. She's going to the opposite side of the court.
Kuhlman, an All-American last year. McBain back to serve. And UCLA again sides out to get to set point. Mac May, who Coach Metzger said is the perfect athlete. 6'3", mobile. She's from Dubuque, Iowa.
Oh. Wow.
Kuhlman.
What a great shot from Kuhlman.
Goes cross court to save another set point. It's 24 apiece. Florida State trying to upset UCLA in this winner's bracket duel. And set point again for UCLA.
I like the aggressiveness from Mac May. Going on to passes a little tight, so it's a great heads-up play by her.
A little walk and talk there. Stein Metzger, the head coach for UCLA, talking to them. This is on court 4. Court 3, Florida State is also 3 points away from victory there. The odds are in Florida State's favor, but this is huge point here for UCLA to try to win this set. Denied again by McBain.
No fear from McBain. She's even pulled off the net and goes up, gives that ball a rip, and really tests the block of Mac May. When the attacker is that far off the net, you really want to delay your block.
Florida State also up 19-16 on court 2.
Oh, it looks as if at least Zappia may have been in the net.
So it's dual point for Florida State on court 4 on the left-hand side of your screen. On court 2, Horton and Luke are getting close to having a chance to give Florida State the duel if McBain and Kuhlman can't get it done. 26 all on the left-hand side of your screen. And it is dual point for Florida State on the right side of your screen. At the 2s, Horton and Luke have match point, which is also dual point against Justine and Sponsel, and a timeout taken there.
Right here, Molly, let's go!
Dual point on court 4. Again, timeout on 2, so we'll focus back on 4 now primarily. It's dual point for McBain and Kuhlman. See the crowd building on this court. Upset in the making. There it is! Florida State, the number 4 seed, has just defeated UCLA, the number 1 team in the country, to continue in the winner's bracket.
Florida State just has UCLA's number at this NCAA tournament.
Once again, Florida State defeating UCLA 3-1.
And here it is from Elise Zappia. But the angle block, I mean, I love it. Florida State did such a nice job throughout this duel, really changing up their concepts. I love the fact that they had so many back sets. Their block was moving around from the line to the angle, consistently changing up what they were doing, really forcing UCLA to stay up to par with them in terms of making adjustments.
The 20th straight win for the Seminoles to keep them in the winner's bracket. The interesting thing is going to be to see if we can hear from Brooke Niles after this, because yesterday she had lost her voice. Second straight year she's been not feeling well at this event, but she's going to be feeling great with this as Florida State stays in the winner's bracket as the number 4 seed, taking out the number 1 seed UCLA, who now will move into the elimination bracket. Is that a shocker to you though, Cameron?
You know, I wonder what the emotional state of UCLA is, because they have been sent home back-to-back years by Florida State. They're the favorite coming in. They have the number 1 ranking. It's never been an issue for them, but it's very interesting. Again, Florida State played really solid volleyball in this duel, and they really earned that win.
So here's the elimination bracket. UCLA now will meet LSU tomorrow at 3 Eastern. That'll be on ESPN2. The loser is out. USC is also in the elimination bracket and will face the loser of our next match. Let's head down to Courtney Lyle with Florida State coach Brooke Niles.
Coach Niles, your team talks about all in. How have they showed you that they're all in today?
I mean, all in's not about winning or losing. It's about sacrificing yourself for the team and giving it day in and day out, whether it's mental training, physical training, making changes on the court, listening to your coaches. And they've been doing that time and time out all year, and we've been getting better and better at it. So I'm so proud of them.
You guys take down USC, the defending champs. You come in here and take down the number 1 seed, UCLA. What did you like most about what this team was able to do in the sand?
I mean, you got to love the underdog, right? We're the underdog. We're not expected to win, so we have everything to gain, nothing to lose, and that's how we're playing. So I'm really proud of the team.
What do you want to take going with you tomorrow to Saturday?
I mean, we're going to be excited for a little while, but this is where the tournament gets even harder. And we've been here before. We've been the underdog last year and upset some people. We've been the 1 seed, and we made it to the finals. So we have that experience to rely on, and I'm really proud of my team, and our seniors are going to take us even farther. I can feel it.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you.
So an upset in our first winner's bracket match sends UCLA, the number 1 seed, to the elimination bracket. Florida State rolls on, and our coverage will roll on here from Gulf Shores in just a moment.